This is Talia and Shubham, and we're excited to share our findings from our work with the Kitchen Network in Buku West through our fellowship with the Barton Institute.
So this is the client that we were working with. Kitchen Network their operations were taken over by Buku West in 2016. And you see the facility, which is a commissary kitchen, as well as the bottling services. The Kitchen Network plays a role in helping minority-owned food businesses and have been like a crucial part of the Westwood community with their work. And we are, as working with them, hoping to find out how Kitchen Network can serve its clients, businesses, and communities in the Westwood area. So the theory of change that we were trying to see work with Kitchen Network was a systems theory, and how Kitchen Network, being in a system of its own within the Westwood community as well as wider Denver, could make impact in their community as well as their clients. So the theory of change was by understanding the Kitchen Network's relationship with their clients and other community stakeholders, they can identify avenues and potential partnerships to create meaningful impact and growth for clients and community of Westwood in Denver. So the overview of the problem that we were trying to work through, we divided them in like few questions that we could start asking and then try to understand how we can resolve the problem better. As you can see, we have a map of all the clients that work with the Kitchen Network. And as we can see here, most of their businesses are located in southwest of Denver, where Kitchen Network is located. So the key questions that we were hoping to answer and help us understand what we can do better was, how can the Kitchen Network impact their clients and their community? Where can additional impact be made knowing the priorities of the client and the community stakeholders? How can the Kitchen Network create a change within the system of Westwood neighborhood and that of Denver? And how can the Kitchen Network add value to their clients and their community?
So in order to answer our key questions, we decided to focus on 3 areas which we determined would help us gather relevant information. First, we focused on the clients of the Kitchen Network, in which we wanted to learn how the Kitchen Network could better support their clients and what the Kitchen Network was already doing well. Next, we explored community organizations operating within the Westwood community. Through these interactions, we wanted to learn what the wants and the needs of the community were. We also wanted to identify what barriers the community was facing and any potential partnerships that are not yet being explored in addressing these problems. And lastly, we researched national examples of commissary kitchens and how they modeled their organizations for meaningful impact. In researching these models, we sought to identify what was unique about each model and what could be applied to the Kitchen Network. Through interviewing clients of the Kitchen Network, dominant themes emerged. Specifically, 5 areas of growth were determined. So the first one was short-term help, which was defined as having the ability for clients to be able to hire individuals hourly to alleviate some of the simple yet time-consuming tasks of running their business. Marketing support. This was identified as developing an online platform for businesses to help spread their name in the area. And then business coaching, which was defined as assisting entrepreneurs who are new to the food industry and getting their businesses started, particularly assisting in getting the proper licenses and permits. Next was support in growing businesses. This was expressed as helping small businesses take steps to expand their businesses through being able to utilize more operating units, such as more food carts or food trucks, as well as support in hiring more staff. And then lastly was more packaging programs, which would be expanding the bottling service that already exists with the Kitchen Network to include more broad packaging services. And then the 3 strengths of the Kitchen Network that were determined by the clients was exemplary all-around services relative to other kitchen commissaries in the Denver area, positive community culture specifically pertaining to the operating staff of the Kitchen Network, and then Kitchen Network's positive relationships with other organizations in Westwood was expressed as helping individuals develop their own businesses. So then, through interviewing community organizations, we found a number of overlapping themes. In regards to community wants and needs, we identified 5 major themes. First was the development of food pantries and access to nutritional food. housing support as gentrification becomes more of an issue in the area, and then a huge population of the community is undocumented, thus developing a need for additional resources for undocumented immigrants, the development of more youth programming to prevent youth from engaging in risky behavior, and lastly, a resource guide that community members and organizations can use to address individual needs. So then the four main barriers facing the community were unstable housing due to gentrification or lacking legal status for undocumented immigrants, the lack of resources for undocumented immigrants, the lack of bilingual programming, and then many programs and courses are only offered during 9 to 5 hours, but many low-income families in the community who want to take advantage of these courses are unable to miss work during that time. So there's a need for more flexibility for programs. Then we explored potential partnerships noted by the communities, and those were expressed as the use of the Kitchen Network to support local entrepreneurs in starting food-focused businesses, collaborating to address food insecurity by either developing more food pantries or creating more spaces that take SNAP benefits, and the development of widespread community partnership where local organizations can come together to collaboratively address community challenges.
So taking into account what we heard from the clients as well as community stakeholders and doing the research on different national models of other commissary kitchens, we came up with 5 recommendations or action steps that the Kitchen Network could be taking in order to do better in their community or enhance what they're already doing well. So the first one was the online presence. By enhancing like some sort of online resource for their clients as an internal network to promote client partnership, contact information with food services, or even trying to show how these clients might be able to have public events while traveling in different communities within Denver could be something that the Kitchen Network should look into. At the same time, we could also think of having an online store online where clients can look into selling their item in an online portal that other people can see it through just going through the web.
So next was business assistance and consulting. This would be providing initial assistance and later assistance to small businesses hoping to expand their business. Additionally, it would be specific support programs for low-income entrepreneurs in identifying funding sources to help with the initial financial needs of starting a business. And then lastly, that would be an ongoing access to financial consulting that clients have the option of utilizing throughout their time with the Kitchen Network.
In regards to addressing food insecurity, we were thinking that the Kitchen Network could collaborate with organizations in Westwood community to enhance more food pantries and have ideas on how food insecurity can be tackled. We're also thinking that Kitchen Network could provide low cost and free cooking and nutrition classes in the residents that are in the Westwood area. At the same time, we could also foresee like food trucks being a mobile grocery store or mobile food services that could perhaps make use of SNAP benefits in Westwood as well as in Denver.
And then specifically regarding partnerships with the local community as well as Denver organizations, we identified the option to develop programs and trainings focused on the food industry that are offered in English and Spanish, as well as have flexible times. And then creating a virtual and or physical space for community organizations in Westwood to come together to share their resources with one another in order to better support the needs of the community in a collaborative way.
And finally, for the short-term help and client-based assistance, we were thinking that Kitchen Network could have a small number of individuals that they can hire on an hourly basis that could complete some simple tasks in like the kitchen itself, such as dishwashing or food prep. At the same time, we could have short-term staff help in terms of helping with like delivery or takeout or helping in growing an online platform for particular clients, depending on what the clients are looking for. So after doing this project, there were a few insights that me and Talia both have. Personally, for me, doing this process of social enterprise fellowship, getting to learn about the social enterprise and social impact first, and then being able to apply these knowledge into a real project was very helpful. And I think it gave us a whole picture of how understanding something can be reflected upon in practice as well.
And then next was just the notion that this process is not linear. So when Shubham and I began this project, we had our own kind of vision of what the project was going to be looking like and what steps we were going to need to take. However, as we progressed with this project, there were multiple times where we needed to kind of go back to the drawing board and make adjustments. And so just really being flexible and recognizing that that's okay. And sometimes you're going to need to take a step back and readjust your outlook in order to kind of take steps to move forward.